All right. Hello and welcome back to the Higher View Podcast, the podcast dedicated to the creative, the outside thinker, and the believer. My name is Jonathan. I am your host. I'm here with the one and only beautiful co-host,
Ava.
Wifey.
I'm just joking.
Wifey Alexus, and also Ava. The Avinator is joining us for this episode.
Oh yeah, she loves scratches.
Usually she's outside of this door crying and whimpering around because she wants to be on the episode, but we're going to allow her on this one. But,
Do you have anything to say?
Ava, anything?
Whisper. Never mind.
But today we're going to be talking about trust. We're going to be continuing the marriage series. Today's topic is about trust, what it looks like in marriage, our experiences on trust, how we've rebuilt trust in our marriage, and just a little bit about our testimony. We have quite a testimony when it comes to trust. So I think it's really cool to share this, and we really want to just be us. I think it's more of an intimate conversation with just between us and kind of get to have a little check-in between us as well. So
I love that. I love when we get to do videos like this.
yeah.
It's nice.
So I hope you guys have been good. But I also just want to throw out a reminder. We don't talk about this too often, but if you are new to this channel, if this is your first time coming across this channel, or if you've watched us a couple times, feel free to subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel, or find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can get a podcast. We are literally everywhere. So also social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of the above. Feel free to follow us on all socials. So thank you in advance, and that greatly helps us out.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
I know you have something that you wanted to say for the opening remark about trust. So why don't you go ahead and start with that?
Yeah. So I actually wrote this down. I thought it was very poetic. It says, trust is one of the most vital cords that ties and binds two people together. Without it, doubt creeps in and insecurity brews. With it, security becomes a pillar of strength needed for a sound, thriving relationship. And I just thought that as we go in and talk about trust in this episode, this really stuck out to me because the doubt and the insecurity, like when there's no trust in your relationship, it's because there's doubt and insecurity that has creeped in. And so that's why I thought this would be perfect for that. And then with trust, there's security. Without trust, there's no security in a marriage at all. Like that's literally what's going to hold us together is trust.
Yeah. And
it becomes a pillar. Obviously, God holds us together, but we could get deeper into that in a second. But with trust brings security, and that becomes a pillar of strength needed for a sound, thriving relationship is what it says. And I just thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah. It kind of really ties into the story that we were talking about that we want to, bring up with the situation with trust, the scenario that we've experienced ourselves, a little bit about our testimony and what we've gone through. There's been many situations where I've betrayed your trust. There's been many situations where you betrayed my trust. Yeah. And there's been a lot of repairing and mending back together and having to come back together. And I forgive you again. Let's do better next time. But like I forgive you. And there was a lot of having to come back to that situation, having to remind myself, having to remind yourself that we are in this together. We're gonna have to build this thing. Even though I don't have 100% full trust in you yet, I know that we're going to get there. So we're going to keep going. Right. And I think when we were young and kind of dumb kids still, we were just starting out dating. And, we've said a little bit about this story on the podcast before, but when we did long distance, there was a lot of betrayal. There was a lot of us being in the world. There was a lot of us being, like I said, just dumb kids and kind of just doing whatever we wanted, being very, very ungodly in the sense of just doing whatever we wanted. But in doing that, we really just betrayed each other severely. Yeah. And it damaged both of us severely. And there was a lot of things that were broken, like internally and within our relationship. Like our relationship definitely wasn't the same for a very, very long time. after our trust was betrayed with each other. And that kind of showed as we, you moved to Texas, we started to get pretty serious, and we moved in together in our first apartment. That's where things really kind of played out in a very ugly way.
Yeah.
Because the betrayal that we had, it damaged us so bad that we carried that into everything. We didn't have the trust, we didn't have the mindset, we didn't have the willingness to say, or the comfortability or the confidence to say, like, yeah, I can open up to you and I can speak my mind to you. I can say the things that bother me to you, because there was so much damage and there was a lot of healing that needed to take place. So why don't you tell us a little bit? I know we said the story a little bit on the podcast before, but we haven't really gone into detail. So what was the betrayal that we were walking through in the apartment? You know, how we would always get in these cycles. We have to like remind ourselves not to go there again, not to get in these, rage fits, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It was
But like,
definitely
give us a picture of like what it was like.
And I mean, I think, like you said, everything that we went through, we brought it there. And we just, I don't know, we chilled all the time. I honestly, like, that time of our life was such a blur. It really is. It wasn't, I think we were just broken people. And I mean, I know that we had a lot of times where we were chilling and hanging out and enjoying life and stuff, but we were also with each other 24/7 because it was around COVID, and we didn't do anything. We just hung out. But I just think it would be like one thing would be said, and there's so much underneath that wasn't healed that it would just blow up. It wouldn't even be that one thing that was said. It was just this bundle of hurt that we've never healed from or anything, and it just comes out. And I think it, like you said, it was really hard to open up. There was a lot of times where there was lying, and I think it even came from not even being able to be honest with myself personally. And there'd be times where the lie would come out and it'd be like, oh wait, but you said this last time, then now you're saying this, like, and I think there was a lot of times of that where I remember you just wanted the complete honest answer.
Yeah.
And I was so confused myself. I couldn't even be honest with myself. So how could I be honest with anybody? So I think it came down to that for sure. And I mean, trust got broken because of lying and betrayal, like you said. And also just, I don't know, just the way we treated each other just wasn't healthy. We were young. We were selfish. I don't even know my thought process then, but I remember anytime that we would get in a huge argument, and it would, like, if you guys didn't hear like our testimony, highly recommend going to listen to it if you want to know more, all the things we've been through. But in that season, it was just like blackouts of fighting, and I wouldn't even remember what I would say, what I would do. Things would get thrown, doors would get slammed, or our door, what's it called?
What?
The top of the door.
Oh, like the border of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember? It started coming off because that door got slammed so much.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like that. And I would say things, not even know what I'm saying. We would try to talk through it. I'm like, I didn't say that. And it was exhausting.
Yeah.
It was exhausting.
It was very exhausting.
And I just think it happened so many times where then I would feel guilt and shame. And I'm like, man, like I would feel like I was to the point where I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I get past this? Why can't I be better? Like, I was so hard on myself. I was like, I don't understand. But the thing is, it's because I didn't have the tools. I didn't have people pouring into me. We weren't walking with God at the time. Like, I was literally so confused. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to go off of my own wisdom, my own understanding, my own healing and peace. And that's not gonna work. Yeah. It's just not. It didn't work then. And I didn't experience true full healing and peace and wholeness until I started walking with Jesus and walking with the people that are in the body of Christ that helped me.
Yeah.
That's when I think our trust started to get built.
Yeah. I mean, What was that scripture that you said earlier? Love always trust.
Yeah, I mean, it's First Corinthians 13, where it's just like love is patient, love is kind, but the root of it is love is trust.
Yeah. But love can't be trust without love, and God is love. So
Mm.
like there is no real true trust without God, if you look at it that way. And at the center of it all of us, having these arguments, always getting in these repetitive cycles of slamming doors, yelling at each other, blacking out. What the heck happened last night? That was at the center of insecurity.
Mm.
And we weren't secure with ourselves. We weren't secure together. And we were really just holding on to the distrust that we had. There was nothing to hold on to at that moment. So yeah, you're right. Like there was really no true trust until we actually found the one that gives the true trust.
Yeah, and it was literally a root of control. Like I remember trying to control the situation all the time.
Yeah.
Like whenever, I don't know if you remember this, but when we get in fights and we would try to separate, like I'm gonna go sleep in the living room, you stay in the bed or whatever, like I wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
I remember I became like a bully at the time. Like I would like take the blanket and the pillow and like you're gonna think you're gonna blah blah blah, and like I just took like control because it all falls down. You said insecurity. It's rooted in insecurity and control and doubt and all those things.
Yeah. I mean, even on my side too, like that was my insecurity too, like trying to have control over the situation. And I think that's a big fault of a lot of guys is not when they're not in control. It's kind of it's awkward for them. It's awkward to not allow the shared space of a spouse, have that mutual understanding that we're on the same terms, we're on the same team. And when a guy's not in control, it's mostly because they're insecure, right? That's mostly like that's the root cause. They're insecure and they don't trust the person that they're with to that level quite yet. There is going to be a certain level of trust, but it's not to that level. And it really did come down to us finding that walk with God, finding the true meaning of trust, going through the healing journey with Holly and Alan, and figuring out what the roots are, and really going down to what broke the trust in the first place.
Yeah.
I would really say to any couple or young couple out there dealing with a situation where they can't trust, like you have to go to the root. And it's not just something where time is going to take its course. Time doesn't take its course with healing and trust. It's something you have to really go down to the root of it, and you have to really dissect it. You have to really understand why you feel distrust here. Why do you feel insecure in this moment? Why do you have to take control like that? Why can't you just let things be the way that they are when situations go down?
Yeah, and time is going to show that you've healed from it. So now that we're on the other side of that, now we can look back and be like, wow, but we took those action steps to get there. But I think, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen that same day. You're not going to see it the same day that you're doing it. Like you're going to do it, but then you're going to see it maybe in a few days from then or a month from then. They're like, wow, I have relief. Even you can simply pray over whatever you're concerned about or anything and cast it up to God, and you'll notice like, okay, like that got a little easier. So
Yeah. But coming now to our relationship today, I think the strength of our relationship is really the foundation of trust. And what a tremendous job that we've done, me and you, growing out of that season of having severe distrust with each other.
Yeah, I'm really proud of us.
Yeah, we've come a very long way. It's very cool to look back and see like, wow, we really were that bad, And I always tell people we were those people you want to call the cops on in the apartment.
Yeah.
just to think like we were those people that were severely hurt and severely causing scenes because of our distrust.
I don't even recognize that.
No, but it's amazing to look back and see and look at our relationship now.
Yeah.
To be able to know how much I can trust you, to be able to know how much you trust me, and like we were talking about earlier, like there's individual things that we do because we're called specifically. There's individual things that you do because you're called specifically, but there's also things together that there's just a trust with it now. Right? We don't have to worry. And it's the same thing with our relationship with God. I think you said on another episode, our relationship with God represents or is a good representation with our relationship with our spouse.
Yeah, that's definitely where it starts, is your relationship with God. And as my relationship grows closer to God and I'm learning to trust God more, I've honestly just learned to trust you even more. Those times where I've like fallen into insecurity or doubt, like as simple as, oh, is he looking at another girl's Instagram? Is he liking other women's pics? Like, how immature is that? You want to come to a place where you trust your husband, that he has eyes for you only. And I know, like, we had times in our marriage where we've had to have those conversations many times, and you've had to repeat yourself, like, my desire is to only have eyes for you. Like, I don't want anybody else out there but my wife.
Yeah.
Like, and hearing those things, and you're gonna have to have those conversations in your marriage. I think that's where trust is
where
being
trust
vulnerable.
is built. Yeah, it's being vulnerable.
And we've had those hard conversations.
Yeah. I think it really is, like, the foundation of trust is built on those situations. You're having a moment of maybe like a thought that comes into your head. Oh, was he, like, looking at other females, a little bit insecure, and you bring that to me. I take it at surface level. I'm not going to say, like, why are you thinking that? What's wrong with you?
You used to.
I used to, but that's because I probably was looking at other girls. But now it's different, It's different because I have security now. You have security now. It's a different situation. Now I can take it and I understand, oh, wait, maybe she's having a little bit moment right now. No, I don't want to look at other girls. You're my wife. That's my only desire. And that's not to say, like, we've had this conversation as well. We'll admire other people.
Yeah.
There's other beautiful people. There's gorgeous people out there.
It's healthy to say that.
Yeah.
Like I even to use it this way for you females. Like, when you see a beautiful girl, you look at them, you just like admire, like, wow, like she's so pretty. Like, it's the same thing when you see a very nice looking guy, like, you look at him and it's not in a lustful way. That's where it gets bad. That's when you're lusting after somebody, you're like, like, wish he was my man. Like, no, that's not okay. That's adultery in your heart and your mind. And so I would take that thought captive real quick if you struggle with that. And if that is a struggle, then there has to be a root where that's coming from. And you're not walking with God closely. You're walking with your flesh.
Yeah. I mean, even like last night we were watching our show. We're like, dang, these people are beautiful to look at. They're really
I know, it's just like
pleasing to the eye.
Yeah. That's not wrong. You're admiring God's creation. Like, we are created in God's image and God is beautiful. And there's nothing wrong about thinking that. And I think it's healthy to say that. I remember we did like a marriage book, Essentials Every Couple Needs book. And it said it in there. It was like, you need to just admit right now they're going to think other people are beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, when I read that at first, I was so insecure, and I read that and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't want my husband to think other people are beautiful. What the heck? Like, that's so wrong. But I've grown in, wisdom in that and understanding like what that really means. I trust you. You're not going to lust after other women. Like, you have a whole wife, like, why would you need to do that in the first place? But I would like to go back to what you were talking about, where we have our own, life, like, individually and together.
Yeah.
Like, we're creating our life together. But I had the thought of trusting in each other's freedom and what that looks like. And I think a lot's going to start from there with your trust in your marriage, because we have our own call on our lives together and individually. Like, we're going to do things together in this life, but at the same time, we're going to do things separately. Like, you're going to meet certain people on your own. You are going to have your own, business. And I'm here to help you with anything. Like, I'm here to help the call. I'm here to help you get to the call that God has put on your life. Like, I'm your helper, and same here. But when it comes to like controlling and like, oh, you can't go out and do that, or, oh, you can't do this. Like, I'm not helping you become all that God has created you to be. There's no trust there. And if you're holding on tightly like that, then that's just a sign that you don't trust your spouse.
Yeah. A picture of trust that really comes to my head when I think about the conversation that we're having. It's literally just like brick by brick. You have a situation of vulnerability. I come to you, I'm feeling this way. Can I talk to you about it? Can we have a moment to talk about this? Like, this is kind of bothering me. You allow me to open up to you. My feelings are kind of validated in that situation. I lay a brick. Another situation. You have a situation. We're going through something. You want to open up to me. You talk to me about it, and I affirm your feelings, so on and so forth. Brick, 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 brick. Eventually, we have this big wall, turns into a house, whatever. You have this whole foundation, all of this stuff that has been built on different scenarios of trust. And that's how trust gets so strong. It's not like the next day, I trust you. Okay, do whatever. It's a thing that it's built up slowly. And it's not something that just happens. You have to have those conversations. You have to be able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's really what trust comes down to. Can I be vulnerable with you? I'm going to trust you if I can be vulnerable with you. If I can't be vulnerable with you, I can't be myself around you, which means I can't trust you.
Yeah.
Right.
That falls into all relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all relationships, not just your spouse, my friends, your friends. If I can't be myself around you, if I can't speak my mind
and be honest.
Yeah.
And that's how your relationship's going to grow. And that's I feel like that's where you're going to see new things in your relationship, and it's not going to be stale, and when people say oh, you're just in your honeymoon season, I want to always be in my honeymoon season. I always want something, it's new happening in our lives and being excited. And that starts right here, not necessarily materialistic newness, but us spiritually, emotionally, our relationship, newness. I want to fall more in love with you every single day. And I do, just so you know. Hey. I definitely do. I really do. And it's the little things. You really make me feel safe. And I really feel like I can come to you when, I need to talk. No matter what you're doing in that moment, even if you're playing video games and I really need to talk to you, babe, can you please put that?
I rarely do.
Can you please put that down, and I need to talk to you for a second. You really would. And we haven't really had a situation in the situation like that for me to interrupt, but there are times where you might be on your computer or doing something, and I'm just hey, I need to talk to you real quick, or hey, I'm feeling pretty sad right now. You are very quick to be asking me questions why do you feel sad right now? You give me your attention, and that just shows that I can trust you with my feelings. I can trust I can go to you when I'm not feeling the best mentally, or I'm having a hard time, and and also I've learned that you are there for me in that, but also am I going to God first at the same time? I've had to stop myself. Even today, I was mentally overthinking about something for a while, and I almost texted you I wish this, da 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 da. And it was wait, stop. Let me take this to God first.
Yeah.
Let me cast all my cares onto God first. And then if it continues to keep coming up, then let's talk. Then I need some help. I need my spouse to help me through this. But I'm just so thankful I can trust you like that. I know not a lot of people feel like they're with somebody that feels safe, that it's a safe place for them. And my prayer to you guys is that you guys can get on the same page and that you guys can feel safe. And you know what? It might take you a few times to have to keep initiating that for your other spouse to understand and see. We've had to like you said, keep building those bricks. If you're just quieting and shutting down and not saying anything, you're not even allowing the opportunity or the way for that to happen. You're cutting it off because you have doubt and insecurity, when you should have trust in God that he's going to work on your spouse's behalf while you talk about those things to your spouse and be vulnerable.
Prime example for me was, I know when there was a lot of situations where you were kind of going through a lot, and you would always come to me, and I'd be there for you as much as I could. I tried to, right? And I remember for me in my head, I was I wonder if she'd do the same for me. And I know for me, it was a lot more difficult for me to open up, a lot more difficult for me to just speak my mind. So I tried it a couple times, and there was a couple times where maybe she brushed it off, and then in a way it kind of turned around on something that you're going through, and then we're talking about what you're going through. And that happened many, many times. And then at the end of our conversation, I'm wait a minute, I came to you for something that I was going through, and at that time, it was many chances. I'm trying to pour my heart out. I'm trying to be vulnerable a little bit. I'm trying to get some conversation about what I'm going through. And it just wasn't really clicking with her. And I just had to keep trying. I knew it was very, very, very disappointing. And it was I don't even want to try anymore because it doesn't even work. And I remember even telling you, I was like, I don't feel like I talk to you. I don't
Yeah.
really trust you in that way. And it really, really took me putting down my pride, putting down, the insecurity of not being able to be affirmed, not being able to be heard out. And I really just had to keep trying. I really had to just, because you're my only option, like you're my wife. Like, who else am I going to talk to? It's either that or I'm just going to like keep it inside. And I just didn't want to do that. So I kept trying, and eventually she started receiving it. And now she's my safe place now. If I have
Mm.
something that I'm going through, I know you'll be listening to me. You've gotten a lot better at just
Mm.
hearing me out, just listening. There's been a lot of times where I've had to like show you like, wait, don't talk yet. Like I'm talking still.
Yeah.
And like, cause when you get a thought,
I just want to get
you
it
just want
out.
to get it out, and if I'm in the middle of conversation, you're like, oh yeah. And this happened. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, wait, what was I talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still a work in progress on that guy.
But
On that thing.
all that to say, it's been a process,
Hmm.
and we're definitely getting better at it. We're
Yeah.
definitely getting better at it. But just to give an encouragement to anybody that may be going through something similar, maybe you have experienced something similar, like it is brick by brick. It is something that is a slow process. You can't just try it out one time. Oh, it doesn't work. They don't work with me.
Yeah.
We don't work together. We're not compatible like that. It's just not how any relationship works. And if
Hmm.
you struggle building any type of relationship, friend, spouse, or, you know, business relationships, it's the same exact thing. It's brick by brick by brick. And it's just a process that everybody has to go through to have a good relationship.
Hmm. I feel like too, trust yourself too. Like trust that you are going to get on the other side of whatever you're working on. Just like back then in the beginning of this episode where we talked about that old apartment times, and I kept asking myself like why am I not getting it? Why am I not getting it? Well, just, trust in yourself that you're going to get on the other side of that. Trust that you are going to make the right decisions and choices, because if you're wanting it, it's going to happen, and even though I didn't know, like God still made the way. God still came in and made the way, but like I chose to seek that. I chose to say yes to that once it landed in my path. Before I had no idea, like I didn't know where to go. But when God came, I said yes. I didn't say no, I don't want that. I said yes, I want that. And my life has never been the same.
Yeah. Trust is never given. Trust is always earned.
Mm-hmm.
And in any relationship, again, like you have to earn your spouse's trust. You have to work for it. It has to be something that you put actual effort towards showing your spouse that you can trust me. There's not a situation that you can just snap your fingers and just automatically say, yep, she trusts me. We're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
It don't work like that. All right. So just like any process in marriage, any process in relationship, it's all work.
Yeah, and if you aren't trusting like your spouse or even people in your life, like you feel like you aren't good at relationships, well, when those people like hurt you, like are you holding on to anything towards them? Like when you see them, like do you have a lens of judgment in any way, or like do you have these feelings that rise up when you're around them? Because if you do, then that's just showing that you don't have that trust towards them. And I don't think like, so let's say that somebody like really hurts you, like betrayal. Okay, let's say like in somebody's marriage, like they get hurt by this person like really bad.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think would be the steps from that for the spouse that got hurt? Like what do you think are the steps that they should take daily to gain that trust back?
It comes down to, I think, the initial first response is dealing with it internally, because the other person is 100%, if there's someone that loves you, they're 100% going to try to gain your trust back. That's going to be in the works automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you've been betrayed, and you're personally going through betrayal, it has to go internally first. And I think you have to really sit down, talk to God, give it to God, write it down, maybe talk to somebody else that you trust, and really just process that, because you can't really have somebody else's trust back by them just showing and telling you, you can trust me, I'm going to do this for you, you can trust me, if you don't really process it yourself, because that's kind of going to the root like we were talking about. So I would just say that, like kind of just internally processing it first. That'd be the first step for me.
I love that. Because like how how are you going to receive what they do new if you haven't internally dealt with that hurt?
Yeah.
Because that other person could be doing good things and building your trust, but you could completely miss it because you are drowning the thought of pain and hurt from them.
Yeah.
So I like that. Just, I think the key is to heal on your own and learn to forgive them, no matter if they deserve it or not.
Yep. Love always trusts. That's the moral of the story.
Exactly.
If you love the person, trust the person. Do it over again and lay bricks and lay bricks and lay bricks. But I'm just, I'm really proud of us. I'm really proud of where we came from and the level of trust that we're at right now. And the bricks that we've laid right now, they're only stacking up, right? They're really getting higher. They're only getting better. Our trust is getting stronger. So I'm really proud of us. I'm really excited to see how much more it's going to grow.
Yeah. And I think it'll be a forever thing.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
It's a strong wall.
Yeah. And it can go as high as forever.
Yep.
There's no limit. There's no, what's it called? That dome in the sky?
There's no dome?
No, there's no dome. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what? Whatever.
Yeah, we'll call it that. There's no dome.
There's no dome to cap it off.
One day we'll have a mansion of trust.
There we go.
But yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up right there. You good with that?
Yeah, I think that was great.
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap it up right there, guys. I hope somebody got something out of this. I really feel like someone did.
Yeah, I do too.
I think this was really good. It touched me. That's for sure. I think it was definitely something that I think it was a good thing to talk about for me and you as well. But I enjoyed this, which is me and you.
Love you, partner.
I love you, partner.
But we love you guys, and I know you love to close this out, so I'll go ahead and let you, since you're the host.
That's all right. If you want to close out, you want to go? You want to close it out?
You know what? Fine. I'll close it out this time.
Let's go.
We love you guys. Thank y'all so much for watching and just for keeping up with our podcast. I think we're almost up to 3 years of doing this. We'll have to look at the date that we started
I'll
it.
have to see.
But just looking at like the last episode that we did, like we've grown. And I think just as we be consistent with it, like it'll continue to grow. So if you guys know anybody that you want to send this to, that you feel like this could be something, they can get something out of this, whether they're, married, not married, dating, or whatever cycle they are in life, just get some tools into their tool bucket. This is a very long closeout, but it's fine.
You're doing great.
Go ahead and send it their way. But yeah, we love you guys, and stay tuned to the next episode. And as always, I don't know if you always say this one, but dun dun dun.
Slay. I don't know what you were
There's a
to say.
special place for you in heaven.
Special place for you in heaven, people.
Come on, you're supposed to read my brain. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Peace out.
Peace out.